Hello and welcome. Let's talk about something many of us notice as the years go by. It might be a subtle change at first. The grocery bags feel a little heavier. A stubborn jar lid refuses to budge. Or maybe it's that extra effort it takes to push yourself up from a comfortable chair. This isn't a personal failing. It is a shared human experience. In the medical world, this gradual loss of muscle and strength that comes with age has a name: sarcopenia. It's a process that can begin as early as our 30s, but it often accelerates significantly after age 60. And if you've ever felt a sense of frustration about this, or perhaps a quiet, persistent worry about what it might mean for your independence down the road, I want you to know that is a completely normal and valid feeling. It's a concern that deserves to be met not with fear, but with knowledge. My purpose here is to serve as a guide to distill the science and the clinical wisdom of leading experts into clear, actionable steps for you. And today, we have a powerful promise. We are going to explore a science-backed strategy to fight back against this muscle loss. For decades, we've been told that eggs are a gold standard for protein. But what if I told you that according to the latest clinical nutrition science, there is a common, everyday food that is surprisingly more powerful for triggering muscle growth in adults over 65? A food that makes it far easier to give your body what it truly needs to rebuild. Stay with me, because we are going to unpack that science together. For years, the advice for fighting age-related weakness has been simple and direct: just eat more protein. And while this advice is certainly well-intentioned, leading experts in geriatric medicine now understand that for older adults, it's fundamentally incomplete. It misses the real underlying reason why our muscles can struggle to maintain their strength. The true culprit is a condition called anabolic resistance. Imagine your muscle cells have ears that are listening for the signal from protein, the signal to start building and repairing. This is an anabolic process. As we age, however, these ears can become a little harder of hearing. This is anabolic resistance. It means that the same amount of protein that sent a loud and clear signal to your muscles in your 40s might only be a whisper in your 70s. Your body's ability to respond to these crucial muscle-building instructions becomes blunted. I understand it can be unsettling to learn that the advice you've been following might not be the full story. And it's perfectly okay to feel that way. But what I want you to remember is that this knowledge is power. Understanding the real problem is the very first step to truly fixing it. Let me share a lesson from a leading geriatrician with over 30 years of clinical experience. He often speaks of the patterns he sees in his patients, and one story in particular stands out. It's about a patient. Let's call him Robert, a 72-year-old man who was doing everything he thought was right. He ate chicken for dinner, he had eggs for breakfast, he was diligent about getting his protein. Yet year after year, he felt weaker. He was deeply frustrated because his sincere efforts were not yielding the results he wanted. The problem wasn't that Robert wasn't eating protein. The problem was that his body was struggling to use that protein effectively. He was experiencing significant anabolic resistance, a condition that was made much worse by a period of inactivity after a minor knee surgery. This brings us to a critical point that is often overlooked. Anabolic resistance isn't just a slow, passive decline. It is a state that can be dramatically worsened by events that are common in our lives. Things like a bout of the flu that keeps you in bed, unnecessary surgery, or any period of extended inactivity. Researchers have found that older adults can lose over a kilogram, that's more than 2 pounds, of precious muscle mass from their legs after just 10 days of bed rest. This isn't just simple muscle loss. It's a rapid acceleration of sarcopenia, driven by inflammation and a profound state of anabolic resistance. This creates a vicious cycle. An illness or a minor fall leads to inactivity. That inactivity deepens the anabolic resistance, which makes it even harder to regain strength, leaving one more vulnerable than before. Recognizing this cycle is the key to breaking it. So, if the muscles' ears are hard of hearing, our first job isn't to simply shout louder with more and more protein. It's to give the muscle a hearing aid. And the most powerful, science-backed hearing aid for your muscles is resistance exercise. This is our first evidence-based strategy. Now, when we say resistance exercise, it's important to understand what it's truly doing for us at a cellular level. It does more than just build strength in the moment. It directly combats anabolic resistance. It fundamentally increases your muscle sensitivity to the anabolic signals from the protein you eat. According to exercise physiologists, a single session of resistance exercise makes your muscles more receptive to protein for at least 24 hours afterward. It primes the pump. It makes the nutrition you consume far more effective. It tells those hard-of-hearing muscle cells to start listening again. Now, a common myth that keeps many people from taking this crucial step is the belief that strength training is somehow dangerous for older adults, or that it's bad for the joints. This is a deeply ingrained misconception that we must correct. A leading physiatrist, that's a specialist in physical medicine and rehabilitation, would tell you the exact opposite is true. When done correctly, strengthening the muscles around a joint is one of the best ways to protect that joint. Strong muscles act as shock absorbers and stabilizers, reducing the strain on your cartilage and ligaments. As these specialists often say, motion is lotion. It lubricates the joints and keeps them healthy. And you do not need to become a bodybuilder to reap these benefits. In fact, you don't even need a gym. Clinical studies have shown that one of the safest and most effective methods for seniors is using simple elastic bands. A dedicated program of 40 to 60 minutes, just 3 times per week, has been shown to significantly improve both muscle mass and strength. The most common mistake people make is thinking they need to lift heavy or push to the point of pain right from the start. The correct way, the safe way, is to begin with your own body weight or very light resistance. The focus should always be on proper form and controlled movements. Strength is built on consistency, not on intensity alone. I know that starting a new exercise routine can feel daunting, especially if you're already dealing with aches and pains. It's okay to feel hesitant, but I want to remind you of the wisdom of your own body. It is designed to adapt, to heal, and to grow stronger at any age. Start small. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to begin. Once we've used resistance exercise to turn the hearing aid on, we need to speak the right language. We need to provide the specific, powerful signal that commands the muscle to build. In the world of nutrition science, that signal has a name: leucine. Leucine is an amino acid, one of the essential building blocks of protein, but it is unique. Think of it as the master switch. Leucine is the primary trigger that activates the entire process of building new muscle, a process called muscle protein synthesis. And here is the second critical insight for adults over 65. Due to anabolic resistance, our bodies have what researchers call a higher leucine threshold. This is a game-changing concept. To flip that muscle-building switch from off to on, clinical guidelines recommend that older adults need to consume about 3 grams of leucine in a single meal. If a meal contains less than this amount, the signal may not be strong enough to overcome the resistance, and the opportunity to build muscle is missed. This is precisely why the vague advice to just eat more protein often fails. A meal can be technically high in total protein, but still fall short of this crucial leucine threshold, meaning your effort doesn't translate into results. Now, a common question that arises here is, do I need to take a leucine supplement? According to the consensus from leading nutrition researchers, while supplements can be useful in certain situations, the most effective and sustainable strategy is to get your leucine from whole foods. Whole foods provide a complex matrix of other important vitamins, minerals, and compounds that work together synergistically to support your overall health. And this brings us to a common point of failure, which I want to address with compassion, not judgment. This is where many people, including our friend Robert from the earlier story, can get discouraged. They might be eating what they believe are high-protein meals, like a 2-egg omelet for breakfast or a small piece of fish for dinner, and not see the results they hope for. A 2-egg omelet, for example, contains only about 1.2 grams of leucine, less than half of the required amount to hit that 3-gram threshold. It's not a failure of effort. It's simply a mismatch between their intake and their body's higher leucine requirement. Understanding this threshold is the key that unlocks the potential of your efforts and turns them into real, tangible results. Let's take a moment and connect the dots. We started with the frustrating problem of losing strength as we age. We now understand this isn't just a random decline, but is driven by a specific, manageable condition called anabolic resistance, our muscles becoming less responsive to protein. And we've learned that we can fight this. It's crucial to see how these first two strategies are not separate ideas, but a powerful two-part system that works in synergy. Strategy 1, resistance exercise, is like tilling the soil and making it fertile. It re-sensitizes the muscle, preparing it to receive nutrients. Strategy 2, meeting your leucine threshold, is like planting the specific seed that is designed to grow. You need both the fertile soil and the right seed for a harvest. One without the other is far less effective. You've already learned more about the true science of muscle health and aging than most people ever will. I want to commend you for your attention and for investing this time in your own well-being. This is an act of self-respect, and it is the foundation of taking back control. But knowing you need 3 grams of leucine per meal raises a critical question. What is the most effective, practical, and even enjoyable way to achieve that? We've all heard about eggs and chicken, but what about that surprising food I mentioned at the very beginning? Because hitting this target consistently is the difference between simply maintaining the strength you have and actively rebuilding the strength you may have lost. It is the key to going on the offense. And in this next section, we will reveal the food that makes this goal not just possible, but simple. The time has come to close the loop. The surprising food that can build more muscle than eggs, ounce for ounce, when it comes to triggering growth, is a hard-aged cheese. Specifically, we're talking about Parmigiano Reggiano, or as it's more commonly known, Parmesan cheese. Now, you might be thinking, cheese? How can that be? The answer lies in the remarkable science of its composition. First, and most importantly, is its incredible leucine density. Remember that 3-gram leucine threshold we need to hit at each meal to stimulate muscle growth? To get that 3 grams of leucine, you would need to eat about 5 large eggs. 5. That's a very large breakfast for most people. But you can get that same powerful 3-gram dose of leucine from just under 100 grams, or about 3.5 ounces, of Parmesan cheese. Second, a crucial lesson from food science researchers is that not all protein is absorbed and used equally. This is called bioavailability. The long, careful aging process that Parmesan cheese undergoes for months or even years naturally breaks down its proteins into smaller, more readily available pieces. This makes its amino acids, including that all-important leucine, highly bioavailable. Your body can absorb and utilize them with remarkable efficiency. And third, it's not just about the protein. That same serving of Parmesan is a powerhouse of other nutrients that are vital for an active body. It is packed with highly bioavailable calcium, which is essential for maintaining strong bones and preventing osteoporosis. It's a rich source of vitamin B12, which is critical for energy production and healthy nerve function. And because of that long aging process, authentic Parmigiano Reggiano is naturally lactose-free, making it easy on the digestive system for many people who find other dairy products difficult to tolerate. To make this even clearer, let's walk through what we can call the Leucine Power-Up Guide. Imagine you want to hit that 3-gram muscle-building target. With large eggs, you'd need about 5 of them, which comes to around 350 to 400 calories. With chicken breast, you'd need about 150 grams, or a little over 5 ounces. With cottage cheese, a food often praised for its protein, you'd need about 250 grams, which is over a full cup. And with a plant-based source like cooked lentils, you'd need to eat a very large portion, over 500 grams, to get there. But with Parmesan cheese, you can hit that same 3-gram target with just under 100 grams. It is simply a more efficient tool for the job. Now, when you begin to consistently combine resistance exercise with these leucine-targeted meals, don't expect to feel like a superhero overnight. The changes are gradual, but they are profound. The first thing you might notice is a subtle shift in your stamina during the day. Or perhaps you'll find that getting out of a low chair feels just a little bit easier, a little more stable. These are the first signs that your body is responding, that you are rebuilding from the inside out. I want you to acknowledge these small victories. They are the foundation of your progress. All of this brings us to a single unifying principle that I want you to take away from our time together today. It is the principle of nutrient-dense anabolic targeting. This simple phrase represents a profound shift in mindset. It means moving away from vague ideas like eating healthy or getting enough protein. It means you are now empowered to think like a clinical nutritionist. At each main meal, your goal is to intentionally target your body's muscle-building machinery with a potent, high leucine signal, especially in that window of opportunity after you've primed your muscles with activity. When you adopt this principle, choosing what to eat becomes simpler and more effective. You're no longer guessing. You are making strategic, evidence-based choices. Adding a generous sprinkle of grated Parmesan to your vegetable soup, your whole grain pasta, or your salad isn't just for flavor anymore. It's a targeted nutritional intervention. This is how you move from simply defending against muscle loss to actively going on the offense to reclaim your strength, your balance, and your vitality. Aging is not a synonym for decline. It is, as the writer Betty Friedan said, a new stage of opportunity and strength. And with this knowledge, you now hold the power to make this chapter of your life one of your strongest yet. So let's distill everything we've learned down into a simple 3-step clinical action plan that you can begin to think about today. Step 1. Re-sensitize your muscles. Commit to 2 to 3 sessions of resistance exercise per week. This can be as simple as using elastic bands at home, lifting light weights, or doing bodyweight exercises like chair squats. The goal is to send that essential wake-up call to your muscles. Step 2. Target your leucine. At your 3 main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, aim to consume at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein that includes about 3 grams of leucine. Use the Power-Up Guide we discussed to help you identify leucine-rich foods like Parmesan, lean meats, fish, and dairy. Step 3. Time it for synergy. Whenever possible, plan to have one of your high leucine meals within a few hours after your exercise session. This allows you to take full advantage of that 24-hour window of increased muscle sensitivity. Now, please, listen to this next part carefully. This journey is not about perfection. It is about progress. There will be days when you feel tired or you don't hit your nutritional targets perfectly. That is not failure. That is simply life. The key is gentle, consistent effort. Be as kind and as patient with yourself as you would be with a dear friend who is learning something new. You are not alone on this path. Every small step you take, every healthy choice you make, is a victory for your health and for your future. Thank you for allowing me to share this vital information with you today. It is a privilege to empower you with the knowledge that can so profoundly impact your quality of life. We are a community of learners on this journey together, and your experience matters. I would be honored if you would share your own story in the comments below. Not just data, but your thoughts. What is one small, positive change you feel inspired to make after our time together today? Your story, your single thought, could be the very thing that inspires someone else to begin their own journey to strength. Remember, you have remarkable power to influence your health. Take this knowledge and use it to build a stronger, more vibrant life. If you found this information valuable, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more science-backed strategies for healthy aging.